Richard, good morning. Thank you for joining me. I need an expert on Thanksgiving, and what better place to start than Plymouth, Massachusetts?
Thank you for having me.
So, Richard, tell me why Plymouth, Massachusetts is considered America's hometown.
I think Plymouth is America's hometown because if you open any American history textbook, Plymouth is there at the beginning. So where I am standing, the Mayflower landed at Plymouth Rock. The Mayflower Compact began America's constitutional tradition, and then it's the site of our most beloved holiday. 97% of Americans say they celebrate Thanksgiving more than any other holiday. And I agree with you. I think this one will be profound because as Americans who have been apart from one another, we are going to understand the vulnerability and the fragility of those communities that came together in 1621, indigenous communities and an English community reaching toward one another and practicing the most excellence in stability and diplomacy. I think we're going to understand it and be even more grateful than any other Thanksgiving we might have experienced in recent memory.
Richard, I was fascinated to learn that Thanksgiving is a recent federal holiday in America.
Well, in New England, it goes all the way back to its very beginnings. So even though the 1621 Harvest Feast was forgotten for a time, it started a New England practice of families gathering together after harvest if they had been separated by distance as New England begins to fill with a population. New Englanders, when they go west, they take that particular tradition with them. And there is a woman who was like the Martha Stewart of her day named Sarah J. Hale. She had a powerful woman's magazine called Godey's Ladies Book. And from the 1820s to the 1850s, she taught other American women throughout the country how to celebrate a New England Thanksgiving. And she is the person who convinces Abraham Lincoln to declare the first national Thanksgiving since Washington and Adams and President Madison. What happens under Franklin Delano Roosevelt is that during the Depression, retailers say, can you move Thanksgiving a little earlier in the year so we can have a longer shopping season? And it's a nightmare because some states have already declared their day of Thanksgiving, and now you have two Thanksgiving dates happening across the country. It was a debacle that ended up being called Franksgiving. So in 1941, the Congress stepped in and said, it is from now on in perpetuity to be the fourth Thursday in November. None of this multiple dates. It was a disaster.
So Thanksgiving was radically different back in 1621. Can you tell me what we could have expected to see on a Thanksgiving table back then?
Well, there's a recent book on Thanksgiving that I love, and the author says there are 4 pillars to this holiday: turkey, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, and depending upon your family preference, stuffing or mashed potatoes. What I love is that 4 centuries later, even though we're using the ingredients differently, they're still with us. So I can't imagine very many Americans right now go out and shoot their Thanksgiving bird. In the 17th century, William Bradford sent out 4 men fowling, and in just a few hours, those men were able to take enough fowl of various kinds, turkey, ducks, geese, swans, crane, to feed the entire company for a week. We roast our turkeys for the most part. A pilgrim never would have tried to deep fry it, but it's difficult and demanding to roast. Someone would have had to have been left at a spit, so I suspect that many of the turkeys at the Plymouth Thanksgiving were boiled and seasoned. As far as pumpkin, that first harvest, the English grain didn't do very well, so no crust for a pie. That was boiled very slowly, the cubes softening up, and then butter folded into it, and then spices like nutmeg to give it flavor. So our tables still are decorated with the same things, but we use them in a different way. And where turkey is the center of our table piece, in the 17th century, it was just one among many items. It does not become the bird celebrated until the 1800s.
Now, Richard, I'm a huge history buff, and I can visit Plymouth, Massachusetts, and get the whole Thanksgiving experience.
Yes, if your viewers visit the website cplymouth.com, they'll get all the information that they need to visit the town. And the week here of the holiday is joyous with concerts, America's hometown Thanksgiving parade. It's wonderful. And we here at the museum, we host something like 5,000 Thanksgiving dinners over the course of the week. I urge everyone, come and be where it all started at least once in your life.
Richard, I admire your passion, and thank you so much for the Thanksgiving stories. You have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.